Do you feel like you're always lacking something to feel pretty enough? Like you always think something like if your hair were longer, or if just your nails could be done more often, or if your wardrobe was fuller or more looking like who you feel inside. Like there is always a missing piece, and you use your money, energy, and time chasing after that missing piece. But for some reason, even when you end up doing your nails or buying the outfit or doing your hair or whatever it is that you felt was missing, something is still constantly missing and you are still constantly chasing. Somehow the promised glow up never really glows. And your wardrobe is still not what you want it to be. Your face still feels puffier. You like still look the same, but just in a new outfit or in a new haircut. But I'm here to tell you that you've been looking for beauty in the wrong drawer. What if all this time it was not in the shiny, trendy, extraordinary drawer where you've been looking, but in the boring, regular, habits, natural, quiet beauty drawer? Because that's for sure where I found my beauty bag. So let me share with you 11 quiet, boring habits that I have that actually made me prettier than any trend could ever do. And bonus points, they are all almost completely free. So the first one is self devotion. And I think it really came to me as a strong feeling because I could not relate with all the self love things that I was seeing and listening to. Like when you've been alone a big part of your life, loving yourself is like your default. Like it's what I've been doing all my life. I was like, I've been loving myself all my life. I mean, so I could not relate to it, even though later I understood what it was for me and what change I had to do. Notably, the fact that I was loving myself like a controlling parent and I had to love myself differently, like a loving friend, for example. But it was not a lack of self love, it was a lack of a better definition of love. Anyway, I think that for me, self devotion was way more transformative, and it came to me through the process of massaging my face. I already talked about it in another video, and these days and since a few months I also experiment like buying myself flowers or these kind of things. I know I said I will offer some free advice, and flowers you need to pay for them, but really it's like such a small price for a, and you don't even need to buy yourself flowers. For me, it was that because I always considered that flowers are for other people. Like when I was going to see someone, I was always bringing some flowers. But for some reason, for myself, I was never enough to receive the flowers. So that's a change that I made just because of that. Self devotion is all the time, energy, money, even sometimes, but not necessary that you will put on yourself instead of putting it outward. And I really like that notion and I really experiment it in my life. And for example, when I want to binge eat or in the days where I'm feeling tired, I'm preferring now to take a moment with myself to massage my face, to massage my body, to massage my feet at night before sleeping. And all these rituals and these kind of things that I devote to myself really made a big change in how I feel, but also my appearance, of course, because in the beauty there is also a notion of devotion. And we will talk about it also later in that video because I will talk about my relationship with the divine, and it's also part of the self-devotion is like I am a part of the divine and I deserve the effort, I deserve the love, I deserve the attention, I deserve to spend time on myself with myself. And so really self-devotion is a everyday practice that made me definitely prettier and more at peace with myself. The second boring habit that I implemented and that really changed the perception that I have of myself, and for that reason, after that, actually my base and my beauty was to taking some distance from social media. I know that I'm on YouTube saying that, so it might seem like a little bit um, tricky. But the thing is that I'm talking about all the scrolling and comparing social media like TikTok and Instagram. I was never really on TikTok. I came in the very, very beginning when there was no one, because I remember Gary Vee was talking about it, like it will be a big boom, you should be on it. And it was like 2 years too early, and I was on it, and there was no one, and I ended up leaving. But I was never really on TikTok, and I was never really interested. I was big on Instagram, not big as in I was having a lot of followers, because no, I was not having a lot of followers, but I was big, like I was using a lot of my time, energy, and finding most of my clients through Instagram. And in the beginning of the year, so many things happen, and I'm also in a year where I want to clean my life completely. You know, this kind of years, we all have those cycles. And I ended up leaving Instagram, and it was a sudden, but it was something inside of me for a long time, that I was always telling my husband, like, my retirement will be when I can leave all the social media and just live in peace, making cake at home, watching some series, and not having to romanticize my life for other people. I want to romanticize my life for myself, but not for other people. And you might think it's so boring. You are out of social media. You cannot scroll. You cannot look at other people's lives. Some people even told me, like, how do you make friends? How do you keep contact with your friends? And we totally forgot what it is to be in the real life and real temporality of things. And yeah, it's really amazing and had the biggest impact on my life. Like, I actually started to make real friendship in my real life when I left social media, because I had no other choice than to make the effort. That we stopped doing those efforts. It's a little bit like flirting, or meeting someone on the street. It almost doesn't happen anymore, because um, no one wants to make the effort when you can just scroll on some app and find someone. So it's the same for friendship. Like, I actually started making some real friends in the real world after Instagram, and having some friends who value you is also one of the boring habits that I have, that I will talk about. So it had the biggest impact, like, holistically, on my beauty, well-being, happiness. And not just that, I mean, just the fact that you stop scrolling all day have the biggest impact on your skin and face. And scrolling all day is most likely why your neck is not straight, your back is becoming curved, your shoulders are up, and you end up having a double chin, because everything is pushed towards the front. And it had the biggest impact on my face, on my mental health, on my I stopped also comparing with things that I don't even want in my own life. But for some reason, when you are on Instagram, it's becoming so important. It's so important to become a millionaire, a billionaire, when you are on Instagram. And then you leave that world and you are like, I have a salary, my husband has a good salary, we are good. And why do I want to be a billionaire? The third habit is to walk in nature. I go for a walk every morning when I wake up. At the beginning, it was really hard to implement, because I was not walking at all. I was very sedentary. I was really at home. I also like home activities. I'm a homebody. So it was definitely an effort. I started like 2 years ago. And in the very beginning, I was trying to walk like 15 minutes every day, or try to reach at least 3,000 or 4,000 steps a day. And I remember it was like, oof, how people are walking like 10,000 steps a day. It's impossible. Yeah, it took me 2 years, and little by little, I just made it a habit. I would say that a lot of people tell you just need to do something like 20 days or 60 days and then it becomes a habit. No, for me, it took really a long time. I was pushing myself to do it, but I'm glad I did, because I enjoy this moment so much. To starting my day like this is the best feeling. Especially that I have the chance to live in a small village in the middle of the nature, and I can go to the park and I can see some squirrels and some birds and some ducks walking around me when I'm walking. And it's really an amazing feeling, and now I cannot get rid of it. Like, I need to, when I get up, I need to go for a walk. I mean, what else am I gonna do? It's not like I'm gonna directly start to work. I'm so tired. I just woke up. I don't want to work. So I'm like, anyway, I have like 30 minutes, 45 minutes time to wake up, to actually wake up, and to start working. So might as well go for a walk and meet the ducks. So yeah, this was amazing to implement that into my life, into my daily life. And it also making every day like, even in a day that I'm the laziest and the less productive, I'm still having this little victory, that okay, I went for a walk and I saw the ducks and I talked with the squirrel. Yeah, it might seem really boring, but it has actually the biggest impact on my mental health and my body and my even my puffiness, my self devotion also. So every morning I go for a walk, and then when I go to the gym, I also walk to the gym. It's not that far. Come on. um, and I also go sometimes in the afternoon to the library for studying the Turkish language or the German language. I'm big with languages. I love to learning them. I love learning them. Sorry for my English. I always feel so bad because my English is actually not so bad, but because I'm trying to think about what I want to say and trying to be proper in what I'm saying, then I'm more focused on my mind and I'm not focused on the language, and so yeah, it's all over the place. And especially today, I decided to not script anything and just talk with my heart. So bear with me, please. So yeah, around and about every day I walk like 7 or 8 thousand steps. I don't count the steps that I do sometimes at the gym because I consider that this is my training for the day. So I don't even count, and I don't even bring my phone with me when I'm at the gym most of the time. So this is 8,000 steps, maybe 3 times per week. I'm also walking like 10 minutes more at the gym. It doesn't matter. And I do this today very easily, but it was not easy at the beginning. So please don't compare to me. And if for now, what you can do is just 2,000 steps more per day, just start there and just try to make this moment as enjoyable as possible. This was really the way that I did it. Like, I'm putting some music if I need to. I'm putting a podcast if some morning it's raining and I don't want to go out. I just put a podcast and I enjoy the moment, and I look at the squirrels, I go to nature, I look at the sun on my skin. I try to have a really good time. I try to dress up if it's afternoon and I'm going for a walk. I'm like having a hot girl walk. I'm putting some good music like some Rihanna or some Justin Timberlake. I'm really using that time for not just completing some steps, but to have a moment with myself. And we always come back to that first point of self devotion. Fourth point is love. Love had biggest impact and still have today the biggest impact on my glow. Like, really, it's what pushes me every day to want to be a better person. um, it really makes me glow from the inside out. And the only thing that I really wanted to know before is that you don't need to wait to have a partner or to be in a relationship or to be in a marriage to feel that glow. You can be in love before being in love, and this is weirdly actually what will make you manifest love. But even without thinking of manifesting love or whatever, just for yourself, just for your glow, just for your skin, just for your feeling inside, like, love will have the biggest impact, and you don't need to wait to feel that. Like, I was in love person before I was actually in love. Like, I'm naturally in love with everything. Like, I'm talking about a squirrel. I'm in love with that squirrel that I meet every day. I know it's the same because it's starting to come to me. I'm in love with a dessert. I'm in love with a new dish. I'm in love with a country. I'm in love with a language. I'm in love with my friends. I'm in love with myself, and I'm in love with flowers. I love to have them around and just cultivate this feeling of being in love all the time. It will have the biggest impact on your life, your glow, your skin, your feeling inside of you. Okay, the fifth boring, quiet habit that made me prettier is actually cooking homemade meals every night at home. I know what I put in my body most of the time. I don't eat some industrial shit, and it's not because I'm better than anyone else. It's just because first I cook like a goddess. So I'm like so thankful for that gift from God. And I love eating my own food. And generally, when I go to the restaurant and I go outside, it's generally not so good as what I could have done at home. And even now, my husband is like, we don't need to go to a restaurant. I mean, I prefer to eat at home. It's better. It's healthier. It's everything better. When we do go to the restaurant, it's because we are meeting with friends or we want to have a moment together, like celebrate something or something like that. But most of the time I'm cooking at home. It's fresh. It has the biggest impact on my skin. I'm not having those bad oils that they put everywhere. And it's also just amazing, at least for me. It's okay if you don't like it, if you don't like to cook, don't feel bad about it. It's just me, my boring, quiet habit, okay? But I love to cook and I love to take also that moment every night to disconnect from everything, unwind. I love this moment with myself. It's once again actually self-devotion for me, and yeah, it has an impact. I can feel it. It has an impact on my beauty. And because I also studied Ayurveda, I know what my body needs, and I can adjust, if I see that I start to having some pimples, or if I know I will have my period, or I don't know if I see that I'm a little bit inflamed, like my face is puffy or whatever, I know I need to adjust. I need more of this, more of that. I love doing also some infusions with some plants. I'm feeling like a druid, like a witch. I'm a redhead, maybe in my heritage. So it has a really big impact to be able to cook at home, but also to be able to know what my body needs, what my specific metabolism needs, and how I can provide for myself, basically. 6 boring habits that really made me prettier is, and please don't hate me for saying that, but it's really Pilates. And I swear, I don't want to be that girl. I don't want to be that girl. In a world where everyone wants to be that girl, I don't want to be that girl. But really, I don't want to gatekeep either, and I want to be very honest. I didn't try Pilates until a few months ago because I was like, what is that? What is that thing? I don't need that. I just go to the gym. It's enough. I go for a walk. It's enough. But really, when I started, I went to Pilates class just to practice my German. Actually, I thought it would be an easy way to practice German, and it's very easy. And if I don't understand, it doesn't matter. But I actually fell in love with Pilates. Like, it's amazing. It gives you the best body. It's also very, at the same time, it's intense training, but you are doing everything like lying down or sitting. So it makes it like okay. Softer trainings actually is amazing for my body. It's really changed the way my body started to react to intense training. Like, my body was fighting back when I was trying to push it. And with Pilates, it's like soft enough that it's not pushing back, but it's intense enough so that it's giving some results. So Pilates, you guys, I'm sorry. But Pilates, it's amazing. And it had the biggest impact on my posture. And posture, if you follow me, it's the reason of your double chin most of the time. Pilates, you guys, just try it. I know I said it would be free advices, and you are like, girl, Pilates is like 30 euros, 50 euros per class. And you know what? YouTube, YouTube, my girl, use YouTube. Just Google or YouTube some Pilates class, and I'm sure you will find something for free, and you can just start like that. Seventh boring habit that made me prettier is to wake up without an alarm. It's been a long time that I wake up without an alarm. I'm grateful for it, and it has the biggest impact because when I try to put an alarm nowadays, I'm seeing the impact. That's how I know. That's how I know. When I try to put an alarm, I'm seeing like my face is like a devil. I'm like a devil, really. So yeah, removing the alarm was the best part. And now my brain is trained to wake up by the minute. I can tell my brain, I swear to you, I can tell my brain before going to bed, tomorrow I want to wake up at 6:15. It will wake me up at 6:14. My brain can be trained, and your brain can be trained to wake up at the time that you decide. It takes a little time, a little trial and error. Just put in the beginning maybe an alarm just a few minutes later, just in case. But this has the best impact on my skin, on my glow, on my tiredness levels. Yeah, I really recommend to training your brain. If you need a video on that, I can make a video to explain to you how you can do that. But it's not that hard, and really, you will thank me later. 8 is knitting. I started knitting like a grandma 1.5 years ago. I discovered it and I just loved it. And now I knit almost every night a little bit in front of a series or something else. And why it has an impact on my beauty? Because I feel like any hobby has a big impact on someone's glow and appearance because you feel like there is substance to them, like you feel they are interesting, you feel like you want to talk with them, you want to know, you want to share part of their brain with you, and they have that attractiveness. Like, I really like people having a hobby and they can talk for hours about what they are doing. And yeah, I feel like any hobby, and for me it was knitting. I have other hobby like cooking, traveling, but really knitting is my little thing, and I do it every day, so it's really like a daily habit. And not only I'm building my own wardrobe, so it's really having an impact, direct impact on my beauty, my appearance. I am my own creator, like really. um, but it's also an impact on, yeah, your glow, and the time that you spend having a hobby is also a time that you will not spend scrolling or like losing your time, losing your energy, thinking about things that doesn't even belong to your head, or taking on your shoulders something that doesn't belong on your shoulders. And really, I can recommend in general having a hobby, something that you really like and something that you can do by yourself. Like, you don't need a friend, or you don't need something specific or some specific material, some expensive thing to practice it. But like, you can just have this. Like, I know that if tomorrow there is no electricity anymore and there is like, I don't know, I'm stuck at home with no electricity, like COVID number two. I have my knitting, I'm good, I'm glowing, I'm making my wardrobe, everything is fine. So yeah, knitting had also an impact on my beauty. 9 is time with friends that value me. And this is really, really, really like one of the best feelings is to be around people that value you, and for a moment you are laughing your ass out, and you are like, you are surrounded with love and appreciation, and you forgot anything that you saw from social media, anything that you saw from wherever, and you don't compare yourself. You are just in the moment and you are laughing and you are yourself, and it's bringing you back to yourself, really. And I had the chance to really have good friends in the moment that I started leaving social media, first of all, but also allowing myself to be myself. Because you cannot have real friends if you are always like trying to hide yourself, trying to be someone else, trying to be something that you think people expect of you. And in the end, you cannot connect with the people. You cannot be in your truth, and you cannot really connect and laugh. Now I laugh. I tap on the floor when I laugh. I don't care, and my friends laugh with me, and it's really create the connection when you can be yourself. So it's also because I made that that path to myself that I could find some friends, but those friends now also remind me of who I am every time that I'm with them. So whether it's some people from abroad and we just talk from WhatsApp, and some people around me and we go for coffee and we go do some things and we laugh together, and it's really amazing feeling, and it's bringing my beauty because it's bringing me just closer to myself. 10 boring quiet habit is living in a small city of Germany, having a slow life, very quiet life. And it's really helping me having the silence in my everyday life, to be in the right temporality, having the time to make changes, because nothing happens from one day to another. There is not some hack, like something that you will buy and suddenly you will become beautiful. Even botox, even fillers, even filters, even all these things, it's not like a magic pill that you will put on your face and suddenly you will become the version that you expect of you to be. And being in a slow life in a quiet village and having this. And it's really funny because I was always saying that I was dreaming about New York, but when I was watching a series, I was enjoying like the series, like in the small village where the girl is coming from the city and settling in a small village. And I was always watching this kind of series and dreaming about it. But for some reason, I didn't think it could happen to my life. And it's really manifested into my life because today I'm having really my everyday life is like those kind of movies. Everyday life is like those kind of movies. This weekend there is like a festival, summer festival in my village, and we will go with my friends, and it will be like exactly like in the movies that I was always watching and series. So really it had the biggest impact on my happiness, first of all, and happiness makes you beautiful. That's definitely true. But also like in true glow, that I can have a quiet, slow life, slow morning, walking to the nature and living in that beautiful village of Germany, like with the ancient buildings that they used to do, and everything around you is beautiful, and you want to be part of that beauty, and it's revealing your inside beauty. So I love where I live now. I don't know if I will always live here or you'll change. I'm sure we will live in other places, because life is still long. I'm hoping, and I'm touching some wood for that, because I'm really happy. I'm really loving. I love my life, and I love to be alive, and it's an amazing feeling. But for now, I really love this city, and it's bringing the best of my wanting to reconnect with beauty. And 11 and last point, and I know what you're thinking, you guys. You are thinking this is really boring habits, and I told you it's really boring habits. I didn't lie, okay? This is really my boring everyday habits. But my last habit that had the biggest impact on my beauty is my relationship with God. And for such a long time, I was not wanting to call it how it is. I was scared of the word God for some reason. I thought it was like attaching me, and caging me into something. But I don't believe in any specific religion. I just know today that I have a relationship with God, because I can feel it in my life, in my intuitions, in the signs that's come to me. Like there is something bigger, like I can feel it, I can almost touch it, I can almost feel it. And I have this faith, I really built this faith, and today I can feel my relationship with God, and it had the biggest impact. Why? Because when you think about beauty, let me sit down to tell you this. Really, let me sit down, because I want really to express this to you. When you think about beauty, you realize that beauty doesn't serve any purpose, you know? Beauty doesn't really serve any purpose. And you come to the realization that if there were no God, there would be no beauty, you know? If there were no God, there could be no beauty. Why? Because it serves no purpose. If there was just the Darwinism, like animals uh, uh, and and just evolution and just nature, there could be no beauty, no such beauty as we have. Like there would be some beauty, like in the decision that maybe a flower is beautiful or no. Who is deciding that, you know? But there is a beauty that you can feel when you enter a temple, and you feel that beauty in your soul. This is the connection with God that you are feeling. This is God telling you this is useless, and the only use of beauty is to reconnect you with me. You know, the only use of beauty is for you to reconnect with God's energy. You guys, my phone is dying, so let's talk about it in another video. It was a pleasure, babe. You got this. See you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.